All right, welcome back to another Wright Stew podcast. I'm Paul Stewart.
And I am Brian Wright. We're on Tuesday. We just keep moving along. The days keep coming. We keep getting a little bit closer to our little baseball season. But hey,
buddy,
still we got sports news. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So Brian, let me start. We're getting close to wrapping up our middle school season. And we don't believe in baseball gods, but we say the baseball gods, right?
Right.
So baseball, I guess. Baseball has a way of humbling you, redeeming you, and kind of everything in between. So not like a epic Josh Hamilton type story that I'm going to share today, but I thought this was really cool and just wanted to share. I haven't told you, but I'll tell our audience here. So had a little middle school game yesterday. My son comes up the fourth or fifth inning, and we're playing hour 45 time limit. A lot of times these games are timed. So he comes up, we're down 4-0, has bases loaded, 2 outs, and hits a weak ground ball to the pitcher.
Oh, okay.
Yes, man, he's bummed out. He goes out and plays defense, and then comes back in, and I'm helping coach. He's like, man, I can't hit with the bases loaded. I said, and you're gonna get another at bat, man. Don't you say that. You're gonna get another at bat. It's gonna come. Comes up 2 innings later. Now we're still down, but it's 4-4 now. He comes up with bases loaded again, 2 outs, and I say the baseball gods are giving him another chance.
Yeah.
And as he's going to the plate, I say, hey, be aggressive early. Be aggressive early. He sees the first pitch. It's in the zone. Smokes one up the middle. 2 RBIs. We take the lead. And then we end up getting another hit and score 2 more. And end up we keep hitting. The time runs out. We win 8-4. And so I told him after the game, I said, man, you gotta stay positive. You can't let one at bat dictate or ruin whatever's going on in the field or next at bat. So it's amazing though, dude, how many times you see that just happen where you come up and one thing and then, man, an identical situation just 30 minutes later.
And you don't always get it. I'm always a big believer that your bloop hits and your hard hits eventually work out. Yeah. I mean, it takes a little bit of time, probably 25 games. 25 games, it will even out. And so if you hit a ball hard and it's right at somebody, feel good about yourself. But I'm also big, if you don't hit a ball good, but it's clearly a hit, it finds a hole and it's clearly a hit, don't come down the first base bitching and complaining and all that, dang, I missed. Dude, you embrace the hits and you embrace the hard hit balls that are outs. Yeah. And you got a lot more positives to build off of each other.
Yeah, man. So that was exciting. It's always good to see, your kid or the kids you coach have success, and it's either way, it's tough to see them fail as well. But that's some of the goodness of baseball and just sports in general. Like you want those learning moments, you want those teaching moments, and that was definitely one for him. And he was pretty excited. But his highs don't get as high, and his lows probably get lower than his highs. But yeah, man. So he was excited about that. But always good to see that. So Brian, speaking of somebody else who's having a little bit of a tough time, did you see Jose Altuve asked to be moved out of the leadoff spot?
No. You rarely hear about that. I imagine it happens more than we know. You rarely hear it be spoken of, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, in today's age, he's hitting 274, which seems pretty high by 2025 standards. On base percentage, not too great, 310. So for a leadoff, not great. I think he traditionally hit in like the 2-3 hole, right?
Well, I think I may be mistaken, but the Astros have been one of those teams. And what you don't realize, if you don't watch a lot of baseball, the lineup moves a lot. Like a lot of times people start watching baseball games in the playoffs, and you think, this is the one hole hitter, this is the 2-hole hitter. A lot of times by then, the lineup is pretty set because guys are kind of where they're going to be. But you look at lineups traditionally, I've seen Harper hitting the 6, 7, 8 hole. I've seen Trey Turner hitting the 6, 7, 8, 9 hole. Those guys, again, normally are top of the lineup guys. But if they're scuffling, they will get moved around. Obviously, Schwarber, he hits the leadoff, but I saw him last night, I think he was hitting 4-hole. Right. And and they got Stott hitting leadoff. And so I think hearing it publicly is kind of unique. Guys moving a little bit, I don't think is necessarily unique. It's interesting. I'd be curious. Did you hear the conversation of what he said? He felt like he was getting pitched to, or he would like to view that first AB, or
no, just the stuff I read was, hey, want to create a spark for the team, sort of thing, and feel like I'd be better in this position. It's kind of I don't know if there's anything underlying or anything bigger to it, but his numbers aren't atrocious. He's not, a buck.
And he started off pretty slow. I've seen more terrible swings of his than I maybe have seen in his whole career. And again, I know the pitching's really dirty, but he's so far away from the plate, and he completely closes himself off. And then almost not over because he's had a ton of success, but really opens his hips from a closed stance. All these guys wanting to put everybody in a box about how you should hit, you would never teach Altuve. You would never teach his style.
But he's also 5'6" and probably has to generate a little more. So with the way he closes himself off and fires his hip open, does that create more torque? Does that create?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're absolutely right. But I'm sure there was somebody at one point in time who tried to change it. And so there's such a fine line to being coachable and being willing to change and having conviction about what you're doing. There's such a fine line, that I think it's hard to balance as a young player.
Yeah, that's a tricky one too. But yeah, Altuve clearly is kind of set the world on fire.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's ever been popped out for steroids. Is he a Hall of Famer?
He's got to be close, man. Yeah, he's got to be close. I mean, I think if the Hall of Fame voters stick to their guns,
they'll hold it against him
regarding cheating. So no, I don't think no steroid talk with him, but the whole thing with the trash cans and stealing signs and all that. I don't know, man. I think that's a blemish for sure, right?
And I can easily see, like, when people were so fired up afterwards, and I think I've said this, I could easily see getting caught up in it and being a part of it, to be quite honest with you. Everybody was hating on him, but I can easily be like, hey, dude, we can relay signs. Hey, let's relay signs. Hey, let's just do it right here. And all of a sudden you do it one time, you have success, and then it just kind of becomes a thing. And it was made out like all these guys were, the Black Sox.
Yeah.
But I can easily see how you get caught up in doing whatever you got. Baseball's always been the sport that you do everything you can do to win. It's almost like racing. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. And clearly they overstepped a line. But I don't necessarily see – I don't think you punish those guys like they're the Black Sox.
Yeah, and it was interesting. So Brian, we broke the streak. We didn't talk about the clubhouse yesterday, but Alex Cora was a big part of that, and they kind of talked about it where it was like, and that's what they said, it was so easy, and it kind of just snowballed, and we just started doing it. We kept doing it, and
you know what it reminds me of, and I know when you were in college, you had kind of matured. You knew, hey. But, like, when you were in college or maybe high school, like, if other people had taken a test before and they had kind of a copy of the test.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
They're like, hey, the teacher never switches this up, or he puts them in different orders, but these are going to be the questions on the test. It's so tempting to take those answers and use it to your benefit.
Man.
Because you can justify it. And I feel like that was kind of, again, there were so many people that were outraged. I didn't I don't think they should be allowed to do it. But I didn't think there should be so much. I was surprised by the mass outrage that there was, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. Dude, the test taking thing. So yeah, I had a 10, 11, 12 year hiatus between high school and college. Doing baseball. A lot changed from 1996 to late 2008, right, or whatever, 2007, whenever I started. The internet is a game changer, right? Online classes, game changer. Just a lot of stuff, a lot of information out there. And my thought was like, hey, look, if this teacher's lazy enough to just use a generic test that's online, well, I'm going to use the resources that I have to get this thing done. So I don't know.
And so obviously I was '02 graduating, so
Yeah,
I
so you
did
were
not.
barely, yeah, you were barely
It wasn't even.
good
I didn't
internet.
get the
Yeah.
full
No, I
experience.
didn't use full disclosure. I found some answers online, and I'm like, dude, how does this teacher use like literally the exact same thing? But like, don't like
Yeah, it's
if you're gonna
funny.
be lazy, I'll be lazy, right?
Yeah, the morality is it can get gray when you get in certain things. And I was kind of gray on how many people were outraged.
Yeah, yeah. So, Brian, look, I know we haven't talked a ton of NBA. Playoffs are going. Couples, Lakers could be getting bounced early. They're down 3-1. But the Cavs went ahead and swept the Miami Heat last night, 4 games to none. They won 138-83. So quick math for you. That's a 55-point victory. And so we talked not too long, like last week, Oklahoma City beat Memphis by 51. So this actually is a 55-point victory. So 2 games, we mentioned it last week, 2 games tied for the largest deficit by 58, another one at 56, and now this is I guess technically fourth largest blowout in an NBA playoff game. What is going on with these teams? Like, are they not trying? Are these other teams? Is Cleveland just that much better than Miami, or what's happening? Any thoughts on this at all?
Well, I think it's really case by case, but in that case, I think it's rare to have a head coach at one place for that long. It feels like Spoelstra's message has kind of maybe ran its route. Obviously, Jimmy Butler wanted out and was adamant about wanting out. I've always liked how Butler competed, right, as a a guard,
Yeah.
and I would say the message is not being heard anymore. At that point, I think emotionally, even if you don't physically give up, we've all seen it and maybe been a part of it. At times you kind of emotionally quit. You may be going through the
Yeah.
motions, and the other team's emotions are riding extremely high. Everything's going in, and you just kind of like going through the motions. I'm gonna go down and shoot and then play half-ass defense. And I did not see that game. I saw the Lakers. Man, in the Timberwolves game, hey, there are some real players. I mean, start off, you had Luka and you had LeBron score in
Yeah.
the first half like 56 points between the two of them. And then the Lakers did not. Have you ever heard of this? I mean, they said it's been 25 years, but there were no substitutes. The
Yeah,
starting lineup.
JJ Redick in the second half played the same 5 guys the entire second half.
And
Uh,
I mean, I'm sure it's been done before. They mentioned, I heard a number thrown out. It's been 25 years since that's happened. I kind of appreciate the gamble with it because it was a big risk. They had their chances. Man, the Timberwolves, Minnesota Timberwolves. It's kind of the turning of a page. I mean, who's their guy? Who's the Timberwolves guy? I cannot think of his name off the top of my head for some reason.
Anthony Edwards.
Dude, he has it, right? I mean, anytime a player now has like kind of that moment, they're like, hey, Jordan was in that town for a minute. And they start trying to do these comparisons, and it's kind of weird. Somehow this is Jordan's child. And it's incredible though. He
He's
has kind of
good,
that
man. He's
he
really
has that
good.
fight in him that you like to see, that competitiveness, and not only on the offensive end but on the defensive side. And I'll tell you what else was impressive: LeBron at 40 years old, getting up about 18 inches above the rim, blocking a shot against Memphis.
Yes.
There was one play that I thought was controversial at the end that kind of made it really difficult for the Lakers to have a comeback. Um, Again, if you take your mind and just want to see a very like athlete, which I enjoy, athletes being athletes, dude, that's a great series to watch. I don't
Yeah.
care. Again, politics and some of the other things kind of throw you off, and sometimes some of the flopping, but they're letting them be a lot more physical in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So it
like
feels more like, man basketball.
yeah. And there were some comments after some, interviews, and the Timberwolves players said, hey, they were gassed talking about the Lakers. And that's, man, like I said, I've shared a story. I've been to one NBA game. I've been to two NBA games in my life, and one of them I got to sit courtside. Uh, it was the Hornets versus the Lakers. And to see the speed at which they played was incredible. And the thing I mentioned was one of the things I expected was to hear more like kind of just verbal, messaging between each other, right? More talking, more, and there really wasn't. And what I realized, it was because they were going so hard, like they were up and down so much that they didn't really. They were trying to save all their breath for, just
Right.
breathing from running. Yeah, and and you hear the old they don't play defense. They don't do that. Like they're just too good. They're so natural and so smooth that it looks like they, and they are such dynamic scorers that it makes everybody looks bad. I mean, so the ones who play really good defense, do those guys. I mean, could you imagine? And you remember Brian Scalabrine went and played against like regular people, and Scalabrine. So Brian Scalabrine was a journeyman NBA guy, and his whole thing was like, look, I'm closer to LeBron James than you are to me. And he went out there and just whooped whoever he wanted to whoop, dude. And not even close. And one guy that played against him was a college, like a Syracuse college basketball player. It's like a legit, D1 player. And he like skunked him like 11-0 or whatever it was.
Yeah, it's like 11-1-2. It wasn't close.
Yeah.
I'll say this: if you've ever been around, and when we lived in Charlotte, we watched a number of games down there too. But like when there's no defense on them, they don't miss.
No.
Like I mean, when there's no pressure, like we think, all right, we go out and play horse, and we hit a few shots, and it's like,
Oh, I'm on
dude,
fire. I'm on fire. Yeah.
those guys don't miss.
No.
And unless you've been to a game, you can't appreciate how fast and how big. I mean, the athlete, dude. If you are a sports fan and just a competitor of like seeing people compete, man, the NBA playoffs. Again, if you turn off some of the mental politics, man, they're so good. The NHL playoffs are really good too. Now it's
Man,
a whole
our
different.
Hurricanes up 3-1 on those Devils. So coming back home. Brian and I looked for a media request to see if we could get to the Canes game, but we haven't heard back yet. So maybe we'll get
Yeah,
some.
I mean, I think we may get one. I mean, it's there's a lot of requests. We can only go so many. We can only be one place at one time, right? And so it's tough. It's tough to make
It's
that
either
decision.
that or I go to my daughter's coach pitch game. The Orioles have a big game coming up too. I think we're playing the White Sox. So we got some moving and shaking going on there as well. So that's good. But yeah, I see that to put a bow on the basketball. The other thing that I really recognized, yeah, so clearly we know those are giant human beings. But when you see a pass on TV, you're like, oh, it's just a pass. When you see it in person, you're like, wow, like there's really not much room on that court to move. Like
Yeah, yeah.
to
And then when you put
like
oversized human
yeah.
beings on it too, yeah,
To make one of those passes or to thread the needle in the paint or something, it's like, man, these guys are amazing at what they do. So it's pretty incredible. Another big game in baseball yesterday from Brandon Nimmo. Brian, did you see this one?
No.
Brandon Nimmo tied the franchise record for RBIs in a game for the New York Mets. Any idea what that number is, Brian? You want to take a stab at it?
7 comes to mind, but I think it's 8. What is it?
Nine. Nine
Wow.
is the number. So he's not.
That's a good week right there. That's a good week. If you can do that in one game, it really sets yourself up. It's kind of interesting, man. It's there's a lot of publicity on Lindor, so there's on their main guys, but they've got some real players around those guys too.
Oh yeah, Brandon Nimmo's great. He's came into the day betting $1.92. But like we said, you get some of those games when you pop a 9 RBI. Like legitimately, that's 2 weeks worth of RBIs.
And I don't think you really start for an established guy. I don't think you really start having concern. Now the All-Star break is farther back, but probably until the end of June, if you don't start seeing some stuff turn. I mean, you got Harper who's sitting in the 230s. You've got Trey Turner who's hitting 250, and he had 2 little cheap hits the other night. You don't really – the grind is what you got to embrace. I've heard a number of guys, and I didn't do a great job of this, just embracing the grind and the suck and the just the embracing the hard work that's required, and also when you're going bad. Right now, Harper, you can tell something's off. Obviously, getting ready to have a kid. They famously, him and Trey Turner got together, and he did the reveal, gender reveal by choosing what color bat, which is kind of cool. But I'm sure he's got some other things on his mind. It would be hard, and I never got to this point. But once you've made that kind of money, like, to remember your why. What is your why? Like, you've always been striving, and that, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. And I think a lot of these guys do love the game, but it is money motivated. It's life changing motive. You've got a lottery ticket, and can you get the numbers to hit? And once you get that money, can you still maintain that same level of focus? And I think it's exceptional for the number of guys who do it. But it would be really difficult if you had 150 million and you're going to have 300 million sitting in the bank when you're done, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of character to answer the bell every day.
Yeah, that's incredible. So Brandon Nimmo, the record he tied, Brian, just to get it out there, Carlos Delgado against the New York Yankees on June 27th, 2008, had 9 RBIs. So
good day. Really underrated player, Delgado.
Delgado was great, man. Came up a catcher, moved to first, outfield a little bit. That dude could mash, man. He was a gamer for sure. Yeah, but he was great with the Blues.
He doesn't get any pub, and I don't think he ever got popped on PEDs. But he doesn't get any pub for Hall of Fame, and probably I think his stats are right there. Maybe not a great all-around player when you look at defensively, just because he did, I know, move to first base, and I don't know how he was thought of there. But
so primarily, he came up a catcher. I remember that. So play a little left field early on, moved to DH and first base primarily for the rest of his career. For basically,
what's his overall stats?
1997 to 2009. So 17-year career big leaguer. Most of it with the Blue Jays. Played 1 year with the Marlins, and then the last 4 years of his career with the Mets. So career batting average 280. Had 1 year when he hit 344. Pretty solid there. 473 career home runs. 1,512 career RBIs. I mean, those are solid numbers, dude. And I think he's one of those guys who, a little bit of an accumulator, right? But I mean, listen to these home. I'll give you from 1996 through 2008. I'm just going to go home runs: 25, 30, 38, 44, 41, 39, 33, 42, 32, 33, 38, 24, and 38.
That's solid, dude. I mean, again, and he was clearly, he never got popped that I'm aware of. No. And was in the steroid area. I think in a different era, he's a no-brainer. Honestly, he's legitimate, dude. Legitimate.
Yeah, great ball player. One of those guys I think who are just will never get enough votes, and maybe some of it's because he was in Toronto for the majority of his career. Didn't
I think that's a lot of it. I think we go back to the midnight libraries of baseball,
Yeah,
and where you play does have an impact if you are a marginal Hall of Famer. And he's not a marginal player; he's a really good player. I think if he plays in New York, plays in Boston, he's a Hall of Famer.
yeah. Well, he played in New York at the end, but it was just
Yeah,
at the last 4 years when he was slowing down a little bit. Highest he ever finished in MVP voting was fourth in the year 2000. Man, but you look at some of those numbers of other guys, and that steroid era was something else, buddy. Them
it
guys were
was,
doing
yeah. And I send you some of the lineups and some of the stats.
yeah,
And dude, you would see the Yankees lineup from like 90, maybe it's 2000 or 2002, and everybody's hitting from 280 to 340 with 25 home runs to 40 home runs. And it's just a really tough way to judge.
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So,
All
all
right, get
right.
us out of here on this, Paulie. We got to get rolling.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We appreciate y'all listening today. Thank you for that. We hope you have an amazing Tuesday.
Out, go Pack, go Tigers.